on from that, Randy talks about us being all banged up, and so that made me want to talk about the
But it's like
injury.
every team's banged up. I feel like it's such an excuse. Who banged up? Yeah, banged up. Yeah, it's great. But who was actually missing from this game? Eric Armstead. That was it. I mean, who else was missing? I understand, like in the middle of the game. By the time, like what? When did
in the middle of the
Williams
game.
leave the game? By the end of the third quarter, nearly fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean it was definitely already in.
But at that point, like the Ravens already had like almost I think already had a 3-score lead, because I think when the Ravens scored that touchdown with the 9-8 minute mark in the third quarter, I was pretty much saying this game's over. Like the Niners ain't coming back. It's kind of obvious. Like they just haven't had a drive that looked efficient. It just felt over to me.
I agree. Did you? So really quickly, I do want to say, like, because while we're talking about the next two games being pivotal to win, and I'm going to ask you about the Rams game. I think what brings me the most pause is right now this offensive line looks scary, and I wonder if you're worried about it. It was Colton McKivitz was in playing on offensive line. Aaron Banks was in, and Aaron Banks ended up actually going out of the game with that turf toe that he's been dealing with. John Feliciano was in at right guard. Spencer Burford was playing tackle. After the or not after the game this morning, Kyle Shanahan had his press conference at like 10 a.m. before they had any real updates, which is kind of frustrating because usually the day after is when you have more realistic updates. But he basically had no updates on Trent Williams, no updates on Brock. He did give updates on the guys who missed the game. So John Jennings had missed the game, and he's still in concussion protocol, which I figured that he was probably
Everyone's
not even
pretty much kind of the same for the most part.
yeah, and it looks like Eric Armstead is going to be out. The only people are Oren Burks and Elijah Mitchell are good to go, but who is it that they just signed? But it seems like
Ashton
Eric
Joseph
Armstead
Day.
is yeah, and I think that they would have only signed him if Eric Armstead was going to be out more long term because he's been a starter. He's not like a like a backup in the league. So I don't think he would have signed on if he didn't think he was going to have the opportunity to play.
Once Saturday when Kyle Shanahan revealed that about
fasciitis.
Armstead, I think it's officially time to panic on him because that's plantar fasciitis again, and it's like, and that was kind of my thing too back in November 29th. I might have even said that to you when we're on the show, but I know for sure I read about it. I was like, this is something to keep an eye on as light concern for now because he's missing time due to a foot. Guess what happened last year? He hurt both.
Kyle tried to downplay it at first. Like he wouldn't call it the plantar fasciitis at first. Someone this week finally made him specify.
I think because at this point, because he said he's expected to miss 1, maybe 2 games, that he was like, okay, hopefully we can escape it by him missing only 1 or 2. But by the time he's already missing his third, now it's like, shit, I gotta say something.
Yeah. So, are you worried about? I forgot. Jalen Moore also went in for Trent Williams, and then he got taken out. I mean, that's just as scary. I don't think the 49ers are beating the Rams with that offensive line. Are you worried about these injuries moving forward and about that Rams game coming up, Week 18?
It's hella funny because when all those injuries are happening yesterday, I hella thought about how like me and you were talking about like, wow, they've actually had great injury luck. So maybe we fixed it. I think ultimately, no matter what, you just hope that Trent Williams of all people is okay. I'm sure Purdy will be fine. I mean, they said he was going to go back in the game. They said that. Lisa Salters literally said that. And then that's pretty much what kind of fueled is he benching him or is it just because to protect him? And I'm on the case of both, but I digress. Is Trent Williams okay? Because groins are very tricky. So as long as he's okay, everyone else would fall into pieces. Like those are the key. That's the only key player that they're missing. Because at this point, Eric Armstead, I don't expect him to be back until the playoffs. I feel like.
Do you think that Sebastian Joseph Day he had 14 games this season he's played, so he's been like playing. It's not like he was like a backup or suffering any injuries. I guess the
Chargers fine. Nice little
Chargers are just doing a fire sale because they suck. Why are they getting rid of him? Yeah, only 28 years old. He was a former captain. He do you think that he'll do a good job at filling in for Eric Armstead? Apparently he's stout against the run. I think that he could potentially do a good job. I'd keep Eric Armstead out until the playoffs. And I wonder if that the 49ers made that decision. That's why they went out and signed this guy.
He's just pretty much like a true week to week at this point. But yeah, like it kind of seems like he might be out for a couple more days because, it's like you realize that like injuries and it's like week to week, like dude, injuries take a long time to heal, especially one like that. It's like who knows when it's gonna be okay for him. You just plantar fasciitis can be different for me compared to him or for someone else. So
That's
like,
how I feel about the groin strain with Trent Williams. Like
yeah, those
I
are
mean,
always tricky.
it's hard to say because I thought with Javon Hargrave, I just went back to my like when we talk about strains because Hargrave had the hamstring, right? And someone, by the way, because you talked really quickly, you talked about Ambry. Someone said that Ambry went out with a hamstring injury, and that's why he was out for a little bit.
That's not why he was out. Kyle Shanahan confirmed today. Oh, the plan was to get him 4 to 8.
That makes me so mad.
Did that. So I
That
mean,
really bothers me.
I
That's
don't. I mean,
so
that's what he
arrogant
said. He
on
didn't mention it.
Kyle's.
He said we didn't put him in because Ambry got hurt. We put him in because that was the plan.
That's
So regardless
so
if he got hurt or
arrogant.
not,
Like,
they were gonna do that.
change your plan, dude. You're down by 3 touchdowns. Get a new, or no, they weren't down by 3 touchdowns at that point.
Touchdowns.
Freaking Jason Verrett gave up the 3rd touchdown. They're down by 2 touchdowns.
You know what though?
Like,
I
why
will
would
say,
they
like,
do
I
that?
think initially his coverage was fine, and once Lamar escapes the pocket and gets makes it backyard football, there's no chance because Verrett doesn't have that quick twitch anymore to move. Yeah, it kind of really felt like they're really trying to like tap in to see if maybe 2020 version Gervais and Verrett is back.
Yeah, that was. I felt like Ambry Thomas actually did very well. Yeah, I know he gave up like one good pass, but I was impressed by Zay Flowers, and I thought that the cornerbacks did a good job. To me, when they got in trouble was once Lamar escaped the pocket and like they were trying to cover for more than 5 seconds. It was like 8 seconds. It's like, okay, well at that point, I feel like you can't really blame the corners too much. Like you should only be able to you shouldn't, like at that point you need to tackle Lamar Jackson. That goes more to your front guys in my opinion. But I do want to say I want to leave it off with some positivity, and that is that the 49ers, they do control their own destiny. If they beat the Commanders, which they should beat the Commanders, I know it's a travel and it's a short week. The Commanders they want to lose. So if the 49ers, I mean, you think today is a bad week. If the 49ers lose to the Commanders, that's going to be terrible. The week 18 game, depending on how injuries are, I'm nervous about that Trent Williams groin because those things can be 3 to 6 week injuries. Now, maybe it's just a tweak that's only going to keep him out for a couple of days or something. But Trent Williams was compromised in that NFC Championship game a couple of years ago, and he did not look like himself. His athleticism is what sets him apart. So when he's compromised, I feel like you really notice it on that offensive line. I am concerned. I know I said I was going to do positive, and now I'm talking about how I'm concerned about the offensive line. But I guess if they can get the next 2 wins, they'll have a week of rest. They'll have a week of healing, and at least they control their own destiny. Right now, it doesn't matter what any other team does as long as the 49ers win their next 2 games. So that is positive. It's not like we have to like cross our fingers for some other team to lose right now. But, it gets scary the longer these things go. I will say I don't know if you find this positive, but I kind of think in the same way that the 49ers seem to only win a certain way, they also seem to only lose a certain way. And these losses don't seem to come like it seems to take a lot for them to lose. Not only does the other team have to be better and more physical, but they have to throw interceptions, they have to have penalties. Like it really has to be a total team failure on the 49ers side, a total collapse by Brock Purdy, the wrong game plan by Kyle Shanahan, and a more physical defense on the other side of the field. I don't know. I do think the 49ers still have all the opportunity in the world, not only to get that number 1 seed in the bye week, but to make it to the Super Bowl. I am a little bit nervous about winning the Super Bowl. But yeah, do you feel hesitant about the 49ers winning the Super Bowl any differently than you did before? And do you feel like they still have the opportunity to potentially get that 6th Lombardi, or did this really change your opinion of them?
No. I think the positive thing is like I think it's still the same. That you just got beat by a team that was good that day, and they are a legitimate team, and that's something you can hang your hat on. I mean, it's easier than when you lost to the Vikings, right? Who were just like putrid. they don't have a quarterback. Well, at that
I
time
like
they
that.
did
That's
because
true. Like this is like a formidable opponent. Like you
yeah.
can
So
if
I think
you
nothing
have
changes
respect
again.
while losing to
Again,
them.
this game showed more about the Ravens than the 49ers. Positive, it's fine, whatever. It's one loss. That doesn't change anything because, again, you're not going to face the Ravens every game. You're not going to face a defense even close to that the rest of the way, even in the playoffs. It's just really, are you going to get in your own head? I don't think they are. I don't think that's the team they are. They got the Commanders. It's a great bounce back game to really allow your anger, be pissed off, get back on that horse, on that momentum, and you'll be fine. And then another positive is they didn't have any major injuries. It didn't seem like any, because I think at that point, if like someone had a major injury, it would have been clear, even though he had no updates today. Everyone's still like a very minor or moderate injury. I think the positive is you're still the same team. It was a really good team who played up to their best, that had their best performance all year in the Ravens. So you'll take that. It's like, all right, it's fine. Positive thing. We're still the 49ers. We're still clicking. Get back on it. It's fine.
Really quickly, Kyle Shanahan better not be saving Christian McCaffrey for a Super Bowl run at this point.
No, I don't think he was saving. I
That
think
is
it was
not.
more like he really
They
it kind
got
of felt more like this is more conspiracy pushing the Brock Purdy passing agenda thing on the prime time, because when was the last time he did that against the Eagles, right? And that didn't work out. So
still 1-9 in the NFC. They still control their own destiny. I still think that they could win, but yeah, it was a disappointing loss. But I felt like coming into this live stream, I was kind of like really negative on the 49ers, and I still am, and I still personally put a lot of this blame on both Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. But I like that you kind of tried to recenter it on, hey, the Ravens are actually a really good opponent. And this, we need to give them more credit for potentially being able to win. And this says less about the 49ers' ability to win their next two games and more just about how good the Ravens are as well. So I really like